All right, guys, today is Thursday, May 11th, and haven't made a video in a little while because pretty much the market has been ranging insane. Just there was no movement until obviously maybe the past 3 days, right? So let's backtrack a little bit. I'll go over the positions that I had, which I no longer have. But what we're looking at right now is the Euro USD on a daily chart. Now, you know what? I'm going to do a replay all the way back to where I had my two positions and that I was holding for a while, looking for first this level at 1.11. I know I kept harping about having looking for the market to get up to this median level. You should be able to, it's pretty light. I like to have some of these levels light so they don't distract, the chart. I don't like to have too many things on the chart. But in this case, you should be able to see it. So this level up here is about it's a little bit less than 1.11, but I was expecting 1.11 to get hit anyway. So I took two long positions right over here at 1.0805. Now that's going to be in the next candle. So of course we start trending to the upside. Very nice. It was up and down. Of course, we had a little bit of ranging done, and I was expecting for us to at least to hit this level up here of this previous resistance before we got any kind of pullback or some type of hesitation in the market. And then I just waited it out to see what the market was going to do. And of course, it was a very slow climb to the upside. I mean, very, very slow. You just see here in a moment. And you had some moments of pullbacks where it looked like the market was going to drop. And then just like you see here, market shot right back up, right? So it seems like the whole way up, it was just a battle between bulls and bears trying to inch this away from, the downside, right? So here we got a nice big up move. And then once we got to this point, I said, all right, you know what? It looks like this market is going to continue higher. I felt much more confident in it. And the initial two positions was sitting on all the way back here, was doing very well. I think it was over 200 at one point it was 250 pips or so. So then, of course, we get that pullback, which I expected. And this one was a little bit, things got a little hairy over here. So you're just saying, okay, let me just wait it out. Positions are still protected over here. So whatever happens, happens. And again, like I said, a battle between the bulls and the bears trying to get a direction. And then once we got to, I think this point over here, I opened another long position around 1.0975, 172, somewhere in here. I opened another position along looking for this 1.11. So I always advise, if you have a position much lower, the second position should be, for example, lighter than your initial positions. And especially if you have a US broker, because you're going to have maybe, I forgot what the rule is called, but it's the first in, first out rule. So, for example, if I wanted to close this position, I would have to close these positions out first. So then it would be, pretty much, yeah, I'd be stuck with this long over here. So anyway, as this market started moving to the upside, you could see I started getting much more confident and said, okay, this market looks good. And it looks like we're going to hit this 1.11 zone. Now it gets really interesting here because I was expecting for this level to get hit and passed so we could get much higher above this. And then, of course, that big down move got a rejection. And then something interesting happened. I think this was during the Federal Reserve press conference. I don't recall exactly what the date was. I know it was on a Wednesday, but I don't remember exactly what was the um the date. So this level over here, 1.11, and this thing really just kissed this level right over here before I pulled back. So I said, okay, there's going to be resistance there, which is fine, but I want to see a follow through, and I just didn't feel so as confident as I was back here because this level just pretty much got pulled back, right? It hit that resistance right on a dime and pulled back. So I started holding on and said, okay, let me just wait to see what happens. And then the market just went in a complete sideways. Look at this. This was pretty frustrating because us as traders, we want the market to move. Whether you're going to move up, whether you're going to move down, just make a move already so that, you can make a decision on what we want to do. But being patient is also part of what trading is. But if you take a look right over here, I draw this triangle. I mean, this was just day after day after day. We had big down moves, big up moves, and then move to the downside, and then a move back up, and so it really was testing patience. And at one point, I was just like, you know what, whatever's going to happen happens. If the market's going to go down, that'll be fine. The market's going to go up, that'll be fine, and then I'll adjust from there. And then finally, we got this move to the downside, and once we got this green candle, I said to myself, okay, either we're gonna make another big push to the upside, or we're gonna start trending down below where this the lower part of this rectangle is. So of course we got this down move right over here, and then during the morning hours, I exited all positions. This one was a small loss, and then these two positions were over, I think, about 130 something pips before this down move, right? So it really sucked waiting for the market to do something, and even though the end of the trade, it was still a profit. It just was very frustrating waiting for the market to actually make a move and be in these positions for almost 3 weeks, right? So this is where we are now, and I was looking more of a longer term on the weekly chart, and I was talking about this pattern over here. Now, if you go back, I think I said it in the previous video or the video before that, whether you're watching this on uh, TradingView or YouTube, I was talking about these patterns usually go about 50% or so halfway to the middle of of the pattern, right? So in the way I calculate that is using the Fibonacci levels that I have drawn up. So I'll draw that real quick from the absolute top of the pattern to the bottom. And yeah, we previously we hit that 50%, came down to that pivotal zone, and then shot right back up into that short-term median level and that 55.9 Fibonacci level. So this is where we hit now, and now it's looking like this may fall to the downside. But I'm not making any drastic moves because that's one of the psychological triggers when it comes to trading. As soon as you get out of a trade and you just you feel like you missed out on a move, you want to get back in, and that's one of the worst things that you can do as a trader. Whether it's a loss or a profit, you may have to wait a day, 2 days, 3 days, maybe even a week before you can really gather your thoughts and analyze what the market's trying to do. So that's pretty much where I'm at right now. Technically, it did hit the middle of this pattern, and I thought we were going to maybe try to fill this gap over here. Obviously, right now at this moment, that's not the case. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case, but we'll have to see what happens going forward. So going back to the daily chart, what are we looking at? And also to backtrack, there was slight warning signs of this market reversing, right? I didn't know how much it was going to reverse, so that's why once it started getting around this area and hitting this resistance on this short-term median level, that's when I started becoming a little wary and keeping an eye on price action to see what was going to happen. Because number one, if any of you guys are familiar with I call it unique trend line strategy because nobody really uses it. It's based on a support and a resistance and support trend line, and I'll draw that for you here. So if we take a look at here, I use my support and resistance trend line tool along with the magnet tool. So I grab all the way to the support level, to the resistance level, and you can see how it started hitting. You had that confluence here, right? You had that median level, and you had this trend line getting hit nicely. It would have been a nice short, but of course I was looking at the longer term time frame to see if this was actually going to be a short trade or it was just going to pull back. We get back above it, and I use this trend line as a leverage to go long and add another position here. So obviously that didn't happen, but this was one warning sign. And the second one was, if you look down here, let me use my divergence trend line tool. Technically, you kind of had a divergence, right? You had like the highs over here, and then you had the market making higher highs, and then also you had the divergence on the RSI, right? So you kind of had like a double divergence as a warning. But I've seen in the past where sometimes on the longer time frame, if the market looks like it's going to go a certain direction, then I go with that direction, right? So right now, what's the next move? So I'm not going to rush to make a trade to get back to the market. Tomorrow's going to be Friday, so it's the last day of the trading week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait to see what happens tomorrow. I'm thinking that it might, trigger a green candle here halfway, and if we get halfway of a green candle and it looks weak, I may look to trigger a short position and try to target this median level right over here, which I call a long-term median level. I don't know if you guys can see that over here. Let's see, right over here, right? So I'll look to get short and then have a stop above here. My stops are no more than 100 pips. That's the absolute maximum. And I'll look for, 150, 200, 300 pips or so forth, and try to position myself for a nice profitable trade. So that'll be it for this one. So if you guys want to take a look at the weekly one more time, let me just get my mouse working here. If you pull back, then I do see some what's it called here? Some gaps that could be filled. We have one gap here. We have another one here. Actually, three over here that could be filled. But again, I would like to see a much bigger retracement, at least to this level, before I start thinking about anything further down. So that's going to be it for this analysis. Right now, I'm flat, not really looking for any other trades other than to see what happens tomorrow. And then this should tell me if I want to go short or if I should stay on the sidelines. It's not looking very bullish right now. So I'm going to try to just stay out of the market and just see what happens going forward. All right, so that'll be it for this week. If you guys are interested, you guys could head over to Internal Trader and check out some of the stuff there. You can sign up for a newsletter or any updates when it comes to the market. Or if you're interested, also you can view the Internal Trader VIP coaching, which is now available for anybody that's curious and would like to join. You can book a free call, and I'm more than happy to give you a free 30 minutes of analysis or whatever questions that you may have. You can check that out as well. All right, so I look forward to talking to you guys again, and we'll see what happens going forward into tomorrow and into next week. All right, so have a safe weekend, and I'll speak to you guys later.